You know, it feels like with this season, we're getting a new trend blossoming. The very unladylike ladies. The women willing to get down and dirty. I mean, we had May I Ask for One Final Thing, which is about a villainess that's willing to punch out an entire room full of nobles. Now we have Pass the Monster Meat, Milady, a show about a woman that's willing to chow down on a big, juicy monster steak. Yes. I've watched the first 3 episodes of this series, and honestly, I came into it with 0 expectations, but I really do feel like it's something that can grow into a really satisfying series. It's really kind of starting out with that idea of 2 individuals meeting each other, both facing some sort of discrimination, and then at some point, blossoming very quickly into romance, and then digging deeper into a more compelling story about possibly saving people's lives. But this is my thoughts on the first 3 episodes, so let's just jump right into it. Pass the Monster Meat opens up with a woman named Malfiera, and Malfiera is currently going to a banquet in order to find a potential husband. Now this is very difficult and uncomfortable for her because she's got a lot of rumors circulating about her. She's known as the voracious villainess. A woman that eats monster meat, which is, yes, disgusting and taboo to literally everybody. That's mainly because monsters, while, yes, similar to beasts, contain a lot of toxins and magical energy in it that can make you really sick. But unbeknownst to most people, there's actually a method in order to extract that stuff from it, and then you can prepare it just like normal meat. And yes, for her, she finds a lot of enjoyment in this. She actually really enjoys figuring out different ways to prepare it and make it really tasty. Well, as she's looking around, she ends up getting attacked by a monster, and then she's saved by the blood-mad Duke, Aristide. Now, Aristide, with that title, has just as much rumors circulating about him. This guy's always covered in blood, he's very violent, he's ill-mannered, all this kind of stuff. But the 2 of them, after meeting each other, really hit it off. See, knowing who she is, he's very curious if monster meat itself can actually taste good. He actually has an entire squad of soldiers that regularly go out into the forest, and in some cases they run out of rations and food, and they have to sort of supplement with monster meat, which, yes, can make you sick. And so he's kind of curious, hey, you actually figured out a way of doing that? How did it work? And she just loves this. Like, she just starts pouring out all this information about what she does and how she cooks it and everything, and even lets him try some of it. And she's shocked by the fact that, unlike most people, he actually accepts all this. He doesn't look at her in disgust. The 2 of them just kind of hit it off. Well, unfortunately, she has to go back home after the banquet ends, and she feels like, man, I kind of want to give my hopes up the fact that I can meet him again. And he even promises that at some point he's going to bring her a gift. We'll cut forward to her arriving home, and her father is frantic. He received a message from the Duke that he's going to come there and ask her hand in marriage. And she's shocked by this. There's got to be some kind of mistake. But at the same time, it kind of excites her. The idea of meeting him again. Somebody that actually accepts her for who she is. Well, even though her father's like, this can't happen because you're the daughter of a count and he's a duke, there's actually a secret message in the message that he received that was meant for her, which says that literally the duke's going to be the next day. So they have to like frantically prepare for the duke to arrive. Sure enough, Aristide arrives and he brings a very, very rare monster asleep so that they can cook it fresh. But this sort of opens the door to the deeper plot line here. Why does Malfiera cook monster meat? Why is she so obsessed with monster meat itself? Well, in order to prepare the monster, they have to take it to her mother's research facility where they have this magic circle prepared. She has these flasks. She goes the whole process in front of Aristide, how she basically uses this magic circle in order to draw the blood and the toxins out of the monster, and it kind of goes into this one little flask. See, why her mother created this method, and with her passing, now Malfiera herself is continuing the research, is because at some point in the past, there was this famine in the area. And yes, it's very cold in this region, so there's a lot of cases where people don't have food. But there's an abundance of monsters in the area. So if they can figure out a very simplified method that doesn't require you to have this big massive magic circle and these flasks and whatnot in order to extract that blood, they can essentially provide for all the people in the area. This is something that her mother was very passionate about, something that she wanted to do in order to save lives, and Malfiera wants to continue on that. But Malfiera has a very strong and difficult journey ahead of her because, 1, she has to figure out how to simplify this process so that everybody can do it, and 2, yes, a lot of people have strong beliefs against the idea of consuming monsters, like religions and whatnot against it. Even people whom her mother saved their lives won't even admit the fact that they ate monster meat in order to survive. But thankfully, it seems like Aristide himself really does want to support Malfiera. He sees her very strong, respects her for what she's trying to do, and he's pretty much seen firsthand what she's capable of doing. It seems like he's very serious about supporting her and, yes, marrying her. And that's pretty much the gist of Past the Monster Meet Milady so far. And like I said earlier, I was very pleasantly surprised how much I enjoy this show. I think from the get-go, yeah, I really do like Melfiera's character. She's got that quirkiness about her that she just loves eating monster meat. I love the opening of episode 1 where you have her literally sitting on a bench and she's eating this massive, juicy-looking burger. She's just chomping down on it. And this noble comes riding by in a cart and he jumps out and says, "I'm a connoisseur. Could you please allow me to try whatever meat you're having there?" And she's like, "Sure, here you go." And he chomps down on it. He's like, "This is really, really good. What is it made from?" "Oh yeah, a monster." She's yakking. "You must be that woman that they always talk about." It was great. It was great. But it quickly turned into so much more than that because, yes, you have Melfiera and she's going to the banquet, and this girl is just tormented by the comments that people are making. She really does feel below everybody else, that she's just, not wanted in society itself. Everybody thinks that she's disgusting. This is this quirk that she has, this thing that she has passion for, that she loves so much. But it was always painting it in a picture of, I just love monster meat. It's so good. You just got to figure out how to make it. It almost makes it out like it's her own little fetish, and that it's going to be her little goofy quirk, and that's simply it. That she's doing this for this reason. But then over time, as it starts to develop her as a character, you really do see there's a deeper purpose here. That she is obsessed with this thing, yes, because it's yummy, yes, because it's still tasty in the end, but there's a deeper aspect here that she's trying to pursue this dream that her mother had. I'm trying to save lives. Monsters are abundant. Food and resources aren't. Crops cannot grow in my lands, so people are starving to death, and we have to find out ways in order to save them. But then there's that pushback that's happening to both the taboo, but seemingly also religiously, it doesn't seem like this should be allowed. People will deny they'd ever consume it, even if they survive by consuming it. Even if they appreciate Melfiera's mother saving their lives, they won't ever speak of it because it could be seen as bad. You're not allowed to eat this stuff. And that's the stuff that I'm hoping that will get deeper and deeper, more complex as the story goes along. They've already kind of hinted this idea that something happened 17 years in the past. And it was something that seemingly affected both of their lives. Aristide himself was welcomed into a family, and with Melfiera herself, it seems like something happened in their lands 17 years prior that required her mother to figure out this research quickly to save lives. I'm assuming something attacked the lands or something like that and caused this big rift in the kingdom. But that's all for me to say. I really like Melfiera's character. Her difficulty she's facing, her insecurities, how she wants something so bad, but she's always afraid of kind of reaching out for it because she's assuming it's going to fall apart again. It does seem like she at least has the support of her father, now with Aristide as well. People that are trying to encourage her to kind of push forward. Yeah, it seems like her current stepmother is not quite the most supportive person. She kind of seems nasty. And I'm assuming that she's probably very heavily tied in with the religious group they were talking about that's against eating the monster meat because she sees monsters as disgusting. Like when Aristide shows up and he's on this dragon, she's like, this horrible guy shows up, how ill-mannered, I don't want to have anything to do with him, and just kind of storms out. But her aside, it looks like everybody wants to support her for what she's doing. And I'm curious how that can kind of play into something. Currently, it seems like a lot of this research for herself is for her lands. Aristide can kind of see that he can kind of support it with his family name in order to potentially help with not just his soldiers, but possibly the kingdom itself. He does over time build a lot of respect for what Melfiera is doing. And that's mainly in the idea that he sees her doing certain things where even the court magicians themselves would exploit it. For instance, the blood itself, the magical essence that is drawn from the monster itself, is all put in this flask. And he immediately asks, what are you going to do with that flask? And she's like, oh, I always use it to, you fuel the fire. She literally just uses it as oil. And he's like, wow, that's crazy. Typically with people, they would probably use it as a weapon of war, which makes sense. This thing is full of magical energy. It's all condensed inside this flask. It can probably be thrown at something and it would probably nuke an entire nation. And that makes sense because typically she's only dealing with maybe like small amounts from like a small bird-like monster or something like that. She's never really had this much to have to extract at one point, this fresh. So it makes sense that she doesn't realize the more volatile uses of this stuff. He's seeing the value in what she's doing in so many different ways. And again, that coupled with what she's seeing, it's all kind of working out to really showing the two of them as being a really cool couple. And that gets me into something that I'm actually really loving how this is playing out. Yes, the romance between Melfiera and Aristide. The two of them, I think, just work so well together. Both not being able to express who they are and tell other people what they find joy in, now finding each other to be able to speak to. He's a guy that likes to fight monsters. He's very strong, and he can share his experiences with her. And yes, all the hunts that he does, he can bring them to her, and she finds joy in it. Somebody that's not afraid of seeing me that fight monsters, and yeah, I get covered in blood. Melfi herself doesn't screech and run away, ew, gross, when I show up with blood splattered on me. Seeing that love blossom between the two of them, and it blossoming quickly for once. It blossoming pretty quickly. Again, this guy within an episode is already proposing marriage to her, and it seems like she's perfectly fine with it as well, because again, it's somebody that accepts me. It's really great. I really do love their relationship, even though it does seem like it's very much so forced in the idea that, yeah, there's really nobody else out there that will accept them. Visually, the show's okay so far. I never really kind of expect too much of Asahi Productions, but it's enough to kind of keep the show together. There's some pretty solid shots here and there. I think overall, they're doing a good job of kind of keeping it together. It's kind of one of those, 6 out of 10 type of shows where it's never like looking horrible, but at the same time, it's never trying to impress anybody. I think overall, it looks pretty solid. I will say though, audio-wise, Aristide's voice at times does sound like it's got too much bass in it. Like their audio recording kind of messed up at some point, or maybe possibly they didn't account for his bass too much in his voice. But it does sound a little muffled at times, but it's not like enough to ruin the show. Overall, I've been enjoying the show so far. I'm looking forward to more of it. Definitely, again, a show that I had no expectations for, and I've actually been thoroughly enjoying it. I'm not going to expect too much out of it, but I am curious to see them kind of develop what's going on with Melfiera, the kingdom, and what she's kind of faced in the past, what happened 17 years ago, if they don't kind of drag that out too long. But looking forward to it. But I hope you guys enjoyed my video as always. If you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and you want to support more, become a member of the channel. Until next time, you'll take care.